welcome to Powerhouse, our powerhouse, Tati Jalan, with another powerhouse, Mona Patel. Mona Patel is the incredible founder of Redzai, and Couture for Cause, a philanthropist and investor who is very passionate about fashion, as she is about making a difference. And of course, Tati Jalan, who's sort of curated this event together. And I move it over to you, Tati.
Thank you, Mona, and thank you for joining us. So I'm really excited for this session. Mona, I must say I have admired you, especially the waves you made for the Met Gala, and I love watching you. And I've been a great admirer of yours. And can we just have everybody sit down, please? Because Mona is someone which I've been really inspired by at the Women Inspiring Network. So Mona, I'm just going to ask you, tell us a bit about Couture for Cause and how can couture and fashion empower women out there. And I want to just, you should tell us in your own words how you started it. Tell us your journey.
Is this working? Thank you for having me, Stuti. And Couture for Cause is is very close to me. It is my nonprofit. We use fashion as a medium to give back. And for me, fashion has always been a form of self-expression, but also art, because couture is art. It's not fast fashion. It's not ready to wear. It's something that is over time, as you collect, you realize it's something that is a treasure. And for me, using that as a medium to give back is powerful, and also symbolizes how fashion can be a catalyst in empowering women, especially girls. And all the causes that Couture for Cause supports are usually supporting girls and girls' education in India. So I'm very passionate about education, and especially for girls, where it can change their lives.
You know, I love what you just mentioned, because I know you've done a lot for young girls out there, and we have quite a few fashionistas here. I mean, they're from the United States, so of course I will introduce you to them later. And someone who's always, tell us about some of your anecdotes or success stories that connects audience emotionally to a cause. I want you to share some thoughts, like any incident, any anecdote which you've experienced in your life for your organization.
Yeah, I would say I was in Mumbai, and I call it where it's 90 minutes that changed my life. I was visiting a safe house. It's called the Rescue Foundation, and I thought these were trafficked girls and women, and I didn't know what to expect when I was walking in. There was a lady that was running it for over 25 years, and when I walked into the safe house, the youngest girl there was 8 years old. And it really shattered my entire perception of what sex trafficking and young girls, and how they get rehabbed and reintegrated into society. Their parents and their families don't want them back. And these are innocent children, they're not even adults. And this woman has dedicated her life in reintegrating them into society. How do you educate them? How do you get them therapy? Like how do you get them back? And also give them the hope to dream. And when 2 or 3 of them came up to me and they were like, oh, I wanted to be an air stewardess. One of them is like, I want to be a designer. And it really gives you this passion that you want to change their lives. You want to do everything in your power to make sure that they have the hope to dream again. And those were the 90 minutes, personally, that changed my life in what I wanted to do to support these girls and their reintegration into society. And that also comes through education. And I think one single thing that transforms their lives into empowerment is education.
I love what you said, power to change. So I had gone for a program in the United States 10 years back, and they imbibe on you how to pay it forward. And that has been the ethos for Women Inspiring Network. It's a movement, like how can we pay it forward? And Mona, of course, I've shared earlier with the audience But the Women Inspiring Network came about in the pandemic, and it personally kept my team, inspired because we were talking about the inspirational stories on our platform. And today we're so excited. In Davos, we have 10 panel discussions on different topics, including at the India Pavilion, and we have speakers from 15 different countries. And and we started our keynote with Ms. Blair, and she said how we can empower each other, how can we all connect. So, it is like we all actually have the power, we all have the power in the room, to create that change. And so tell us, how from a fashion perspective, India is a land of craftsmanship, and how do we connect the two? Because I know globally I have attended a lot of events where fashion, philanthropy, couture, they all come together. And I want you to share some thoughts on that. How can we do? Because we have some of the best designers, we have some of the best craftsmen, we have some of the best artisans. So I would love your thought. And I also want, maybe the next one is also tell us, because I was blown away. Everybody in India was like, oh, and I was so excited when I got the email from your team that you're going to be here in Davos. And I said, yes, Mona's story is something we'd all like to share, because I think fashion has a really great way to sort of connect everybody in a nice manner. So.
Yeah, I would say I've spoken to Andrew Bolton, who is the curator of the Met, a lot of designers that I know personally, and I feel India is an integral part of the supply chain for couture. I don't think any couture in France would be possible without the artisans in India. And that is what I wanted to highlight when I walk the carpet. I wanted to take my country, my village, my heritage with me when I'm there and represent all the beautiful art that we create. And I think that is kind of my purpose going forward in how we can educate the world that 90% of the Met gowns that you see on the carpet have touched an artisan in India. They are all embroidered there, from Tom Brown to Dolce Gabbana to Schiaparelli, every single one.
Yes, I can't agree more. By the way, I am wearing a Schiaparelli, but I'm just saying the earrings, not the outfit. The outfit is by an Indian designer who's from Himachal Pradesh, and he showcased it at the London Fashion Week. And when he heard I was going to be here, and he's a great friend, and he decided to design it for me, and so this is Indian craftsmanship. And I know what Dior did last year with the craftsmanship, because we all watch fashion really closely, and I love it the way you've been able to connect it to the cause. And I want you to sort of, how can we help, because Indian designers are great at an individual level. Some of the outfits would be worn by global celebrities, international celebrities, and but more if they can sort of connect it back to a cause. I think that gives them a bit more like a global perspective. That's how I think, if you can share some thoughts on that.
I would say is we as in Indians, when we are in India, we're so desensitized to everything that's around us. We don't value the culture and the rich heritage we have. And this is true for me. When I was living in India till I was 22, I didn't appreciate. But to appreciate what we have to treasure it. We don't have museums around our archives. We don't archive anything that we need. We don't really say, okay, this is 30 years old or this is 50 years old. And we've had so much heritage with fashion within India, and there's not a single museum where we can go out and see these archival pieces. So I think we begin with treasuring that, reviving it, and bringing it into a storytelling where audience can come and appreciate that. I think that's just the first step that
I think
Prime Minister Modi can do.
Yes, I think that is beautiful, and I'm going to sort of take that soundbite of yours and share it. So I have actually, in India, I have a client in the communication business, which is a 100-year-old carpet brand. And what you just said, so they have talked about craftsmanship, and they've created a museum. So we have to go back to our history and artisans and the kind of work which they producing and preserving. And it's not just, it's all industries actually. So if you look at our stonework, you look at our jewelry, you look at you look at garments, you look at textiles, you look at everything. So we have to be able to do that.
Yeah, I would say it's not just one aspect. Like when you're talking about couture, it's weaving, it's fabric, it's dyeing, it's embroidery, a lot of it, but also preserving the dying art. These artisans are father to son, passed on trades. Most of the kids don't want to learn these arts. So when they're going to be replaced by machines, we won't have anybody. So it is our, I think, responsibility to continue this art. And if we don't do it as Indians, we can't expect foreigners to come out and do it. And I feel everything begins at home. And if we start appreciating what we have, then we can tie the story outwards into the world.
I love it. I love it. And imagine we're talking about it here in Davos, amongst the snow-capped mountains. But this is the conversation for also the Indian audience back in India with the government. And you know, your message would definitely be passed on. We are doing some things at the India Pavilion also. And who has been your favorite sustainable designer? And how can we ensure, artisans? And if your organization is helping any sort of artisans or weavers so that they can thrive, especially in this environment which is also very competitive, and in India sometimes they may not get the due credit, you know. So if you could share.
Yeah, I would say couture in general is sustainable. I am not a ready-to-wear person. I'm not the one you ask for in fashion designers, but I would say anybody, any designer that does couture is my favorite. Because I truly see fashion as art, and I see that as a collectible art. So couture is sustainable because it's archived, it's preserved, it's not mass produced. You'll never see it in a landfill, hopefully not. But fast fashion with, I won't name names, but it's a different trend. There's nothing sustainable in fast fashion except for the fact that they're using, or it's a circular supply chain, if they're recycling the garments. That's the only part of it. But your next point into getting a cause for supporting the artisans in India, I would say my hero, her name is also Mona Lalwani. She is the founder of Marcel Embroideries, and Marcel was responsible for the dress I wore at the Met. I insisted that it had to be embroidered by her artisans. Wow. She started her company when she was 40 years old. She's 82. And she started it from her kitchen. She has embroidered every dress for Oscar de la Renta to Dior to Schiaparelli to any designers that you would think of. Today she has 750 artisans. And some of them have been with her for over 50 years. So they've grown up with her. And if you see the history of how these men look up to her, it's just fabulous. And I feel like that is the cause that people need to support, is these small embroidery houses, and making sure that this art is sustainable.
And where is she? Can we get
She's in Mumbai.
Oh.
And nobody, it's so fascinating, not a single fashion outlet has covered her, has discovered her. But when I went back and I was like, why isn't more people shining light on you?
We are going to talk to her. I'm telling you.
No, in Mumbai.
In Mumbai, and Mona Lalwani, and
She's 82, she's fierce. She is on all the WhatsApp chats for her office. When I met her, she knew every single A to Z of how her company operated. But hats off for 42 years of building this organization and having every single, I would say 50% of the Met Gala outfits are embroidered in her house.
Wow, that's a great secret you've told us. And I have done a communication for a lot of designers, and I'm definitely going to ask them if they've heard of her, and they should use her. And if she's doing that, with the artisan.
I said hi, because for me she's my hero.
Yeah, I
just personally too.
I think your outfit looked amazing, and I sent it to a lot of people you may not know, and I said, I've been a great admirer. Mona, she looks so good. She's wearing this amazing outfit, and I didn't know that the embroidery was by her.
When I met Iris, I said, I'm a fan of Jardosi, and I want the Jardosi work to be done in India. And this is the embroidery house. I did not know her background, but I just knew that she had created a company that does amazing work. But once I got to know her, I feel like beyond just what she's done, she's just a woman that inspires a lot of people at 82.
I think that's exactly why Couture for Cause stands for, and I think you're doing an amazing job. And any last call to action for our audience here, for the women out there, or our designer fraternity, how can we sort of take action, I would like you to leave us with an inspiring message which sums up everything.
I would say just for designers especially, obviously they're pushing the boundaries with creating amazing art and art that we would be proud of over the years and decades to come. But as women in general, I would just say, I call it the haute mindset. It's a term I borrow from fashion, but being a highest version of yourself and constantly having a growth mindset, that's what inspires me every day and inspires most of the women. So that's what I would say.
But thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us, and I love what you're doing, and hopefully we can do some more collaborations. I'm sure you'll meet, some of our audience globally, and we can all network over lunch. And thank you. I can see everyone here in the audience. She's from the Leela family, and I know she's a great fashionista herself, so maybe you all can chat later. I can see there's Sarah here. I can't see her now, but she has this jacket, and we had Daniela, but I think they're just hanging around. You should meet them, and they're all fashionistas, and maybe they all can support. They have with companies like Bayer, we have companies like Capgemini, we have like really speakers from a very, very global perspective. There's the Dasra team here, which is again, so you'll just meet some great people, and you can talk about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.